All right. The Hoff and Dynasty show is back. It's been on a little bit of a hiatus as I was traveling and then went to Madison and whatnot, and then life gets in the way. I've worked more hours than I can even count, as per usual. But wanted to get back on here before it was too late with my man Matt DeGeorge. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how you been, man?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream. So we have lots to talk about. We were going to do a pod or show or whatever you want to call it that was reviewed the Madison seating, but we just never got to it because of the aforementioned I was out of town and it just didn't work out. But now we're gonna do a pod show that is gonna be kind of like partially Madison, my first Madison experience, the whole Madison overview. If you guys are watching, you can see in the background I have in a second here I'm gonna start playing Joey Gatz versus Matt Votes last game at Madison in the background, and basically I think I'll just keep playing that until it stops, and then that's probably when we'll be done with Madison, and then we'll talk about HSTL seating and playoffs, what we expect, and all that good stuff. And we're going to spend a lot less time talking about HSTL this time, like more than we usually do. Going to try to keep this to an hour. How's that sound, buddy?
Sounds good. War Machine just said that the link he thinks may be broken.
The link is broken.
Yeah, I think that link may be broken. He just tagged you on HSTL.
The link is broken.
He said that link may be broken.
Um, no.
He yeah, he wrote a different one. So maybe that one's working now because you just had Twitch and he has twitch.tv. Yeah, you didn't put
Oh,
.tv
my
link.
bad.
Okay, so we should be good, I think.
Yeah, we're good. Anyway, so saying sorry on the stream for you guys. It's it happens. Anywho, so I'm going to start playing the game, and let's talk about Madison. So I guess we should probably talk about the big elephant in the room, Joey Gatz, first ever three-peat of Madison. Um, I will say that I was there obviously, and we can talk about that in a second. Just from my perspective, in watching Gats be on the stream the last 2 years and then being there this year and watching his games as because they kind of like I obviously never went to a Holtzbauer Madison, but the way Dave is doing it is there's TV places so you can watch the game even though you're not there, like you can't necessarily see him. So I was sitting in a chair next to Darth Rockman and Flash 80 and Turbo and I don't know who else. I think those are the three people I hung out with the most. And we were watching the game, talking about it. And I'll tell you, I think that you know of all of the last three tournaments that Getz had at Madison, this is probably the one that I noticed he got the least lucky. Now I know everyone's going to point to the whiff JJ block by Seal when Getz inexplicably won it for it on fourth down. Well, I say inexplicably. I would have kicked the field goal, but whatever. Um, and to score that game icing touchdown against him in the double dip game uh, because Matt dealt Gatz his first Madison loss in 3 years. But anyway, so I know they would point to that. But I mean, if people don't remember, which I will, anyone will tell you that, and Matt, I'm sure you'll say the same thing, in your tournament wins over there in the East Coast, that aside from skill, you obviously need to get lucky too. And if people don't
Mm.
remember, Getz uh, has multiple, game-ending winning JJs against people in Madison during bracket play and what have you over the past couple of years. And I want to say that this year is the least I heard of that happening and saw.
Mhm.
So if nothing else, I mean, three times in a row, unbelievable. Well done, buddy. But what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I got the pleasure of watching from the convenience of my home. So I was able to watch a couple of games. First of all, I mean, congratulations, obviously, to Joey for winning 3 straight years. I was there the first year when the Holzbauers did run it. That was the only Madison I ever went to. I had a lot of fun, to be honest with you. That was the year that ESPN was there and stuff like that. So that was the first year that Joey began his run. That was fun. Watching this one, I mean, as a whole, watching Joey get there was interesting. I think he was the most the most fired up when he played Mort. It seemed because I know Mort has been beating him frequently lately. At least that's what I read. Um, but yeah, I mean, he played well. I thought that I honestly I thought the first game with Matt, I felt like Matt was pretty well in control. The second game, I felt like honestly, I felt like the turn was when I think it was like 4th and 1 or fourth and 2, and Joey went for his own territory, and he tried running up the middle, and then Matt like took the freaking middle linebacker, dove through the hole, dove tackled him, and I think Matt was up by that point too. And if Matt scored a touchdown there, I think he would have defeated him. But Joey held him on a goal line stand, which ultimately I feel like that, despite the whole Sam Seal thing, the JJs, whatever, that defensive stand was probably the most crucial in the final game. So I think that's what kind of turned the table there, and got Joey's third championship. But a couple shout outs for me besides the championship game, stuff like that. I thought Retro Nate finishing fifth was a huge accomplishment. To see him play in there, just to see a new face outside of the usuals, Joey Gats, Regulator, Chet. And also, you want to know what's funny is that Josh Holzbauer gets to the lead eight like every year, but I feel like everybody's so into Chet because Chet's one, but Josh is like always there. You know what I mean? I feel like he kind of is still underrated, even though he's been there for a while. But congrats to him for another Elite Eight appearance. And you made it to the round of 32, right?
Yes, sir.
Your first go around? Yeah, so congratulations to you. How was your first Madison experience?
Well, I'll tell you. Before I go into my first Madison experience, I want to say I agree with you. Great job by Nate. Just to comment on a couple of things you said. I think Gats was so fired up about beating Mort is because Mort has really had Gats' number, and I don't want to say necessarily Mort has his number from outplaying him, but just like the quote unquote Mort magic.
Mm-hmm.
I witnessed it firsthand twice in at Tundra Bowl and at Detroit. I think at Detroit, where Mort knocked Gats out with some crazy shenanigans. But I mean, it happened, I believe, in Iowa too. So I mean, I think Mort knocked Gats out three straight tournaments at Tundra Bowl, Iowa, and Detroit, I believe. But so I think that's kind of where that came from. So he was definitely he thought Mort was his kryptonite, and so just to comment on that, I mean, I witnessed the anguish of Gats losing the Mort and losing the Mort those ways firsthand. So
Mm-hmm.
that was something. Uh, Now for me, and I'll also say that yeah, Nate, great dude, great job on getting for our Josh, same thing. I agree with all that. So my first experience was I was in the group play is a lot different than I think it's been in years past, where there's only three people in a group. You only play two games. And so I was in a group of people I didn't know. Uh, they played each other first, and they were calling Bills Giants. And then they played me, and I'm sorry, they played Bills 49ers their first game. Then they called me, and they did, I don't, I think they did Cardinals, Falcons, or something. I don't know. But I won. I won handily, actually, in that game. And then the last game in my group, I almost lost. Like the guy, he called Bills, um, what did he call? Bills Giants. And I picked the
Mm-hmm.
Giants because I think the Giants are better and they fit my style better from a defensive perspective, I think. And although I just used LT the whole time, until the very end. So what happened was is that I could do whatever I want offensively. I moved the ball at will, whatever. But until the fourth quarter, he did not have a single clean catch. I bottled up Thurman Thomas in his running game completely. but he could not. He was just getting CC after CC after CC for QB Bills to whoever he threw to. Reed, he got a CC to BB. I think he got a CC to McKellar. No, not BB. He got a CC to Lofton, Reed. Lots of CCs to Reed. CC to Lofton. CC to McKellar. I mean, literally, he had two CCs to Lofton with me using LT guarding him with his 31 interception, which I know isn't great. And it was just drove me nuts. And I think he out-tapped me. So he would CC and then out-tap, and he would... No, actually, no, he didn't out-tap me. But he would CC and then, whatever. So I think he had 100% completion percentage until the fourth quarter. All CCs. And then I really thought I was going to lose the game. I had Sims in good. I had Baker in good. And, of course, I'm throwing a quick burn or a quick hot route, and Sims overthrows Baker and get an end zone interception or something like that. And then the only reason this was me on my game win. So he just scored again on a CC, and this was me in my whole quarter game winning touchdown drive, hopefully. And I threw that interception, and then finally, I knowing he was passing or whatever, I just started using reasons a little bit, and he had 4 straight incompletions and turned it over on downs, and then I scored a touchdown. And then he had a chance to win the game on 2 throws at the end of the game, and I'm using reasons, and they dropped both, no CC. So after CCing everything, literally not a single clean throw the whole game, QB Bills incompleted 6 straight passes. So that's how I advanced through. But then I got I played Rockman, great game versus Rockman. We went to overtime, wouldn't have it another way. Really, really good game in the round of 64, got in the round of 32, and unfortunately was matched up against Chet. And I'll tell you, Chet called Kansas City versus Dolphins. I've used both. I've always seen the Dolphins win more. Plus, I've heard don't give Chet Marino. So I gave him Kansas City and used Marino, and Marino's had a bad game, man. I threw 4 picks with Marino. 3 of them were overthrows. And then he was CCing with the bird to Page like it was Marino anyway. So I got completely blown out. I couldn't do anything. Of course, the 2 touchdowns I do score, Derek Thomas blocks both of the extra points. And so, the only thing I'll say, and I know it's a tournament, you don't turn off the gas, but even when he's up by 30 points in the fourth quarter, or it was like 25 points in the fourth quarter, where I have no chance of winning the game, he was still bombing the ball. So I'm not saying anything, I don't know what I would have done in the same situation. Maybe I would do the same thing, but him being how good he is, and then seeing him do it again, because right after he blew me out, I think it was like 42-12, he blew out Dolo too. Dolo was up, I think 10-0 and then 17-14 against him, and then Chet scored like 28 straight points and was like bombing it in the fourth quarter versus him too. So Chet had 2 straight blowouts against. I don't want to say I'm fantastic, but Dolo's pretty good, and he definitely showed why he's so good. His tapping was spectacular per usual and what have you. But I really think though, I really wish I had a chance to play him again without Marino being so off. I completed nothing. It was tough. It was tough noogies. But other than that, it was great. It was a fun time. There's a whole lot of Tecmo people together. I like to call them nerds because we all are nerds. Just kind of playing each other. I was able to finish my TTL and TTLM seasons live, which was kind of fun. Put a lot of faces to names. Feel bad. I wanted to talk more with Tadeos because of how we've talked so much on here, but I was in the middle of a convo with Nate eating a whole thing of nachos, and that's when he introduced me, or that's when he introduced himself to me, and I didn't see him the rest of the time, which kind of sucks. But it was cool. It was cool to meet everybody and see everybody. I wish we got that group picture that Big Red wanted to get, but that's who I was hanging out with a lot too. Was Big Red and Casual. But yeah, so it was fun, man. It was a good time. Dave does a great job. There was I thought it was good. I would have loved to get on the stream, but I didn't want to ask And obviously, when you're paying a professional to do it, you just probably don't want to upset the apple cart there. But
Mhm.
it was something. I will tell you, because when I played Chet, Aranga's posse was sitting next to me or standing next to me. They are obnoxious. It drove me nuts.
That's
I don't
why
ever.
they're
I mean, literally, I swear, next Madison I go to, I'm putting over ear noise canceling headphones on and not giving a shit because I literally just didn't want to deal with it. And then, obviously, once Matt was playing, um, everybody was, going nuts for him too, his crew. So, but anyway, yeah, Madison's great. Recommend anyone who hasn't gone to go. I think Dave will just keep getting better and better at it as he does it more and more. And I think they did a great job. And it's going to be, yeah. So it was definitely
Mhm.
worth the price of admission.
That's good. Yeah, and to kind of go off that, obviously, kudos to Dave and the crew, whoever volunteered, for running the tournament and making it successful again this year. Hopefully, they do it for more years to come. I'm really, really, really gonna push next year to get out there again, just because I need to. I think at this point. So yeah, hopefully next year, I can make it out, and if you go out again, we could hang out and all that fun stuff. And QB Browns and the guy Jimmy, as far as the announcing goes, I actually thought they were very, very good. So good job for them. But I'm pretty sure, dude, if you come to one of the Northeast tournaments, you don't have any competition. You can announce all the games you want. You know what I mean? Listen. I stink at commentating. I'm here just to talk to you and just talk crap. So yeah, if you come, obviously we'll hang out there. Considering the fact that we're on the East Coast, and yeah, they'll allow you to announce all the games that you want to announce, my friend.
That's cool. I appreciate that. A couple of things to note of Madison as this game here is getting close to the end, which I think is our timer for to not talk about Madison anymore. I will say, really shocked at the upsets of the group play. Not in any particular order, but Nas did not make it out of group play. He went into the silver bracket. Justin Peters went into the silver bracket. DT lost both of his games from DT from Seattle, so he was in the bronze bracket. Lewis was in the silver bracket. He didn't win his group. There was a lot of people. Oh, Brewdog went 1-1. He didn't win his group. There was a lot of people who were expected to go through and didn't. And I'll tell you, it was shocking. And I mean, all I kept saying to myself was, man, I wish I was on the other side of that person in their bracket instead of playing against Jet. But a lot of good players. Just goes to show you that's why they play the game.
Yep.
And you really can't just, I don't know, man. It's just, Tecmo sometimes just Tecmos you. So,
Of course, and that's the price of admission, I guess, especially for a guy like Brewdog who pays the flight to go all the way from California to Wisconsin. That stinks. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, dude, I was in Florida when I flew there. I mean, it's kind of funny when people are talking about the price of the admission of the tournament, but there's so many other expenses that are a lot more
Yeah. Well, the
that,
price of admission is really your plane ticket or your car, your gas, whatever, plus the hotel, the food. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. So I was
Mhm.
surprised by the upsets. I didn't watch the Nas Justin Peter game for the silver crown, but I heard it was epic. And I kind of want to go back and watch it if it was streamed. I don't remember if it was or wasn't, but I heard it was
It's
some.
not because I saw somebody post it recently. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure they uploaded it to
yeah, I
YouTube.
heard it was something else, and so that's
Mhm.
going to be interesting. But yeah, so other than the big upsets, I will also tell you that Dave Murray's wife is an angel. The fact that she puts up with all those dudes and helps Dave with all that stuff. I mean, dude, she was a trooper. So big shout out to Dave's wife for everything
Mhm.
that she did, and obviously Kenobi and and as you said, John Bailey, who their tireless work for the community is always appreciated. But
Of course.
I think that yeah, I think that it's just going to keep getting better and better as they get more acclimated with what they're doing, and maybe more and more people volunteer and help. But I think that overall, you know, I kind of thought I don't know. See, I don't. I mean, Matt, what do you think? If you didn't win your group, so I don't know if I wanted on if I personally would have wanted to keep playing. So I get it. I get, you're just still playing, you're playing for something, whatever, and I'm not poo-pooing it. I think it's the best way to get people more games. But if you didn't win
Mhm.
your group and you were in the silver bracket or the bronze bracket, would you have wanted to keep playing?
I mean, here's the whole thing. Like, initially, you're bummed as hell if that happens. You know what I mean? Because you spend all this time to go out there, you're paying all this stuff. You know what I mean? And you're probably playing all these. Well, I don't really play too many practice games. I honestly, for me, and this is why I take so much time off. I actually am better when I don't play as much. As stupid as it sounds, it's true for me. But a lot of people they play practice games, so you're playing practice games till like 2 in the morning. I hear some of these dudes say, and you're staying up and you're anticipating this thing, and you get into group play, and you're an online guy that does pretty well, right? And then you play, and then you get eliminated or something like that, or even if you're not an online guy and you're just a good player, you get eliminated. Um, it's disappointing. But would I play all the other games? I mean, I would be really, really bummed and embarrassed, honestly, at first. That's just me because I'm a competitor. But I would play it out just because at that point, um, it's just my sports side kicking in. You know what I mean? I always play out games even if I'm losing, because I feel like even though you get knocked out or even though you're bummed, at least it's like a character thing. You know what I mean? Where sure you got knocked out or whatever, but you're playing through it. Now, is it as fun? You know what I mean? As if you're playing for like the championship, because that's the goal, right? No, it's not going to be as fun, but those games too. It's good practice for you, and it will make your skill get better. So, I mean, my philosophy is as much as I would be bummed out, I would play through it just because that's how I am. Some people they might just be like, all right, screw it, I'm going home. And that's their prerogative, that's their opinion. But I mean, I spent all the money to get there, so I might as well just go and enjoy myself and have a fun time. Honestly, what I would end up doing, I would probably just get obliterated at that point. I would literally drink as much as I could and just play and just put in flea flickers and reverses and shit and just have fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
understand. I think that I'll tell you, like, it's kind of interesting. I played a ton of practice games. I played for hours on a Friday night because we had a TTLM deadline that I had to hit the next day or 2 days later, and I had like 6 games left. So, but I'll tell you, I mean, honestly, I like to think that when I was in Madison for all my games, the ones in the bracket or not, I actually, for the most part, played pretty well and just got tech mode. Um, I don't really think there's any really huge egregious things I did as a whole uh, where I didn't do what I was supposed to do or didn't play really well or whatever. It's just things happened and it's just kind of how it goes. And I think that yeah. So, but I don't know. You know, you're probably right. The competitive person in me would just be like, "Oh, let's keep going." But it's a lose lose, man. How I see it is like, so if you're considered like one of the best players there is, look at Lewis. Lewis just won. There's that if you're watching, there's that whiff by Sam Seal on the fourth down play that Gats went for it to seal the game versus Matt that won him his third belt. But anyway, as I was saying, is it's like it's a lose lose because it's like you go into like the silver bracket or the bronze. Like let's just look at DT, right? Imagine if you're in the bronze bracket and you don't win. Like you went 0-2, and I think DT was top. I don't even know where he finished in Detroit, but he was somewhere towards the top. And and you just go 0-2, and then you don't win your bronze bracket. I mean, I guess in the silver bracket there's a lot of competition, so everyone had to lose except for one person. So, but it's just if there wasn't the competition of like you don't have your Nazes and your Justin Peters and your Lewises and your Brewdogs in the silver, and you don't win, like it's kind of embarrassing. But maybe
Yeah,
that's
of
just
course.
me being a little too proud. I'm also the guy who we're going to talk about here in a second I'm the guy who, wow, that field goal block that Gats had versus Matt as he's trying to quickly double dip here at the end of this game was crazy. And the fact that he blocked it 2 plays in a row was just even crazier. But anyway, as I was
Mhm.
saying, as we're going to talk about in our HSTL section, I'm the guy who went 13-3, best season I've had ever in HSTL. I think this is my 11th season, and I'm going to be a 4 seed in the AFC playing Tecmo Bowl, or Stall Talk. Um,
Yeah, it's tough.
but anyway, so this game is now officially over, and that's pretty much it. As Gats is embracing one of the Vote brothers, Chris, I think. So, do you have anything you want to add about Madison before we move on to HSTL?
And I mean, we'll get into HSTL and we'll just cover that in a second. I would imagine, but no, like I said, congratulations to Joey. Really, hats off to everybody who went and attended. Because like we just spoke about, there is a lot riding on it. Especially guys that have families to go up there for a weekend. You know what I mean, and be away from them. So hats off to everybody who played. Some upsets. Some surprising victories. That's just how sports are. But yeah, I mean, to reflect on what we just spoke about, even if you lost, honestly, it's just a character thing. Always play through it. Because you never know. Maybe this year isn't your year, but next year could always get better. And who knows what could happen. A guy like Nas, for example, or Lewis or Brewdog who got eliminated this year, they could bounce back next year and make it to the round of 32, Sweet 16 or beyond that. So there's always next year, but if you spend all the money, go up there, just play things through and have a good time.
Yeah, I agree. And, once again, props to Gats, 3-time champ, a lot of pressure to repeat a third time, on the ropes when Matt came out of the loser's bracket and beat him. And I'll tell you, man, also, too, big props to Matt Vogt for making it to the championship and getting that
Hmm.
far. It's good to see some fresh blood in the championship against Gats instead of it being the Gats and Mort show or Gats and Chet show or whatever.
Yeah, of
And
course.
also, once again, props to Dave Murray and his whole team for putting on the tournament and continuing the tradition and all that good stuff. My first Madison was a good experience. It was awesome meeting everybody, and that's that. So, all right, I'm gonna get out of this video, and we're gonna go to HSTL.
Sounds good.
So where the season deadline was supposed to be tomorrow, it's now Friday, because of we're just not going to get the season in because of Madison and because I leave for Hawaii a week from tomorrow, so we're just not going to get the draft in. So I
All
have
right.
the standings pulled up. We can probably start in the NFC simply because the seeds are actually all decided except for one. Your number one seed in the NFC is Nas out of the NFC West. No surprise that the West was a two-man division between Nas and Prime. I kind of hoped and thought Barletti and Rob would put up a little bit bigger of a fight over there, but um, that didn't happen. I also kind of expected Prime with a better QB to who have a little bit better of a record, but it wasn't meant to be for him. But that's fine. But so and Nas doing Nas things, winning that
Mm.
division. With the Central, we called that one too, thinking that it was going to be the War Machine or Odell. It turns out they had the same record, and but War Machine won on a tiebreaker. So War Machine wins the NFC Central, and there's Odell. And then in the NFC East, you've got Zur winning the division. Like we called that one too, actually. Although while he did start off really hot, he came back down to earth a little bit uh, with his record. And you've got pretty much while not everyone's done, you have Turbo versus Dolo for the last playoff spot in the NFC. They're both
Mhm.
8-7. They both have one game left. That one game is against each other. Winner goes or loser goes home. Winner goes to the playoffs. and that winner is going to face Zur because War Machine has a tiebreak over Zur because of the weird scheduling thing where they played twice. So basically, just to go through this, your 1 seed in the NFC for season 44 is Nas. Your 2 seed is War Machine. Your 3 seed is Zur for the Redskins. Your 5th seed is Prime, and your 6th seed is the winner of the final regular season game between Dolo and Turbo. So
Interesting.
it looks like all of our playoff picks made it. I don't think. I think I'd have to go back and listen, but I believe everybody we picked made it. Uh, I don't. I don't think anyone didn't make it aside from whatever happens with Dolo and Turbo. I think if Turbo beats Dolo, I don't think we picked Turbo to be in the playoffs, but we might have.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. No, I think we. I know I picked Zeradola, War Machine, Odell, um, Prime, and then I said
Nas,
Barletti, but you know.
yeah. So yeah, Barletti was actually another guy. Actually, going through this list, everybody I met this weekend I hadn't met before: Dolo, Turbo, um, Nas, and Barletti.
Hmm.
Cool to meet all you guys. Okay, so the AFC, so that's the NFC playoff picture. I asked Turbo and Dolo to record their game because I want to broadcast it and commentate it and all that good stuff. So
Nice.
in the AFC, it's a much different story. So the dogfight in the AFC West that we kind of called is completely a dogfight, but the surprise horse in this that I never thought would even be in contention, but props to him is Game High. Game High had a hot start to his season, has kind of kept it going, and while he's on the outside looking in, and I don't know if he has any chance of making the playoffs, but to just even be 6-7 in that division, well done, Game High. That's props to you. You got some tough competition out there. It's kind of interesting to see Gats, Tadeos, and Randy Wags kind of all, medal around there. I mean, the division was Randy's to lose with his hot start, and then he, had a rough go of it, and then out of nowhere, you've got Gats ripping off 5 straight wins, to get Priestley. I think the fate's kind of in his own hands for the most part. I'm
Hmm.
not positive. I'd have to look. I'm actually going to look to see what his box scores look like. Um, he lost to the Raiders, and he still has a game against the Raiders. He lost to he split with San Diego. He swept Seattle, and he swept Denver. So basically, if he wins against so Gats' fate is in his own hands. If Gats beats um, Tadeos, he clinches the division. So that's going to be an
Yeah.
interesting game.
Cool.
I would love to. I want to stream that one too, actually. If Kevin Gats, if you're listening, send me the NSV. I know Kev, you like to do your thing, but that's an important game. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't really know. So basically, then the rest of that is it's kind of up in the air what happens with Rockman, Tadeos, and Wags to get into the playoffs because your clinched playoff spots are definitely Old Dirty, me, Tecmo Bow, and I suppose Stall Talk could be at danger of not getting in because of tiebreakers. But I mean, I don't know who's his last game against. Let's take a quick
Hmm.
look.
I just can't believe that you're gonna be a 4 seed with a 13-3 record. That's crazy.
Stall Talk's last game is versus Tecmo Bow, so actually that's a big game too, although not as big.
That's the division,
Um,
isn't it?
oh, that's a good point. Let me take a look to see. Did Stall beat Bow last time? Cleveland. Yes, you're right. So you're right. If Stall wins that game, he gets the division. So that means if Stall beats Bow, he wins the division. They're both 11-5. and that means that the 4 seed and the 5 seed in the AFC, the 4 seed will be 13-3, and the 5 seed will be 11-5. Just craziness.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's nuts.
I know it's just how it happens, and that's fine. It just sucks because, especially because I gave away. I mean, granted, there's some shenanigans in my game versus Diaz, my second game versus Diaz, but my first game, I got the ball in overtime and I couldn't do anything. So if I had won that
Hmm.
game, it would be a different story. But then he would be,
Wasn't Thule in your division too,
yeah,
or no?
Tooley was, and he after 14 games he bowed out. He
Oh,
once he had no chance of making the playoffs, he left. I actually split with Tooley, and Diaz also split with Tooley. Tooley had a rough season, unfortunately, and he just
hmm.
wanted to concentrate on other things. Tooley's been around, I think, in HSTL for a while now. I don't know if he's been around since I have. I know he's been around before me, but
Hmm.
there's only a few people that actually have been in the league the whole time that I've been in the league.
Hmm.
But yeah. So anyway, so basically what we're looking at here is unless Diaz has a meltdown. So and just to clarify, I went through all the tiebreakers. By some weird thing, Diaz only had two NFC games, and I had four, and we both lost all our games that we've lost in the AFC. So he has two extra wins against the AFC than me,
Hmm.
if even if we finish with the same record. So long story short, Diaz has he's got two games versus Game High left and a game versus Rockman. For me to get the division title and the number one seed in the playoffs for the AFC, I would need Diaz to lose 2 out of 3 games against the two against Game High and once against Rockman. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean, Game High is having a better season. Rockman is getting feisty there in the Central and is still playing for his playoff life. So we'll see. So just kind of going through Rockman, and since we just mentioned him, how he can get back into the playoffs here. It looks like his games are versus Pittsburgh, Denver, and Pittsburgh. So he's got a doubleheader versus no. He's got Pittsburgh, Denver, and Indy, right? No.
Yeah, 'cause you just said he has to play Rockman, doesn't he? Or that Diaz has to play Rockman, right?
Oh,
Because he plays.
I thought so, but I must have been looking at the Denver, Pittsburgh. Wait. Oh, oh, oh. They just played. They just
Who's
played.
that?
Diaz and Rockman must have just played while we've been talking because Diaz is now 11-3 and Rockman is 8-6. Wow.
That's a
So
huge
that's
upset.
that is huge. Oh,
What's in the
wait. So
statement?
wait. We need the
Look at
ESP.
you getting a
I
little
know, right?
excited.
Right. We need the ESPN dun like alert update with the breaking news that Rockman beat Diaz. So it looks like the score was 22-7. Wow, that's a
Which would be it. Not, I don't want to say hilarious, but in a way, it'd be funny because you would end up being the one seed if he loses one more game.
that's true. I mean, so here I am. Literally, I had a bitching session.
You,
Fast typing to War Machine last night on Discord, saying like, "WTF? I'm gonna be the 4 seed at 13-3. What goes on?" And now
reverse
Diaz.
psychology.
I know. And now if Diaz loses one game, I go from the 4 seed to a 1 seed. It's crazy. It
Yeah,
looks like
then you go, oh.
I know.
The reaction is
I felt
priceless.
like Bill Simmons right there with his O thing. Looks like Rockman held Diaz to 99 offensive yards.
Must
Um,
have been a lot of
well,
plays, I would imagine.
Troy, no fumble or one forced fumble but not recovery, one fourth down stop. That's it. Diaz had more, but Diaz threw an interception, but so did Rockman. But the big thing, Mr. LVP himself, Troy Aikman, 2 of 13 for 27 yards.
Oh well, Diaz just posted a screenshot of the conditions. It looked like Dan Marino was in good.
Yeah,
Troy Aikman in bad, Kelly Stoffer in bad, Thurman Thomas in bad, Andre Rison in bad, Bill Brooks in bad. So Lewis Oliver in bad. So every stud or any playmaker that Diaz had was in bad.
what? Hey, hold on. Eugene Daniel in excellent. Okay, Eugene
You
Daniel.
want? Hey, listen, listen. Eugene Daniel is a stud.
I
I
know.
don't care
I
anybody. I don't
dude,
care what anybody tells me.
dude, I figured you would think so because you're a Colts guy. On the original ROM, you can beat anybody with the Colts. It seems like so. Yes. Speaking of the Colts, why don't we take this quick anecdote and talk to me about your game against somebody using the Colts and winning?
What do you? This is such a random curveball thrown into this. What do you
I
want me
know.
to say?
Well, so we don't have to mention who it was, but I mean, correct me if my facts are wrong. You beat somebody using the Eagles while you were using the Colts, correct?
That's correct. It happened twice.
So
Um,
you played two games in a row because the first game was kind of like an thing, and you
yeah.
actually beat somebody. Not someone terrible. We're not going to say who it is, but you actually
hmm
beat somebody who was using the Eagles with the Indianapolis Colts on original run.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've almost beaten somebody who's a very, very good player. That they were using the Dolphins, I was using the Colts, and other players. But um, the reason why is because back in the day when my friends, Staltalk is one of them, but I never really played him. I used to play Colts versus Chiefs. Like that was my practice. I used to play. There's this one guy, Kevin, another guy, Ricardo. They're two of our friends, and they're pretty solid players. Like all the group of my friends, they don't play anymore because they have girlfriends or they're engaged or they're married or they have kids now. But they were all pretty good. Like Sean and I, we come from a group that there are other people that were almost as good as us. You know what I mean? Um, but the reason why is because I got so used to using them against the Chiefs, and as you know, Christian Okoye popcorns everybody on the Colts defense. So it helped me kind of corral running backs, learn how to use them as like a team. You know what I mean? Not just one individual elite defensive back. Um, and kind of just kind of wheel and deal with Jack Trudeau. It's funny because every time I watch my games, I always hear people commenting. Like tonight there's like a replay of me and Diaz's game from like a year ago that we played in that guy Troy's thing. And I put in somebody from the Dolphins bench who's not a good receiver like Mark Duper or Mark Clayton, but he was in good. Oh, it was Fred Banks, I think. So I don't know. Like my philosophy is I have this like theory that if people are bad, they fumble more. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's why I do it. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is it's just about utilizing the people and playing with them as a team. So when I used to play Colts or Chiefs all the time, I kind of got used to playing against very good players with a very good team. So that team, I got the most practice with, even though they're one of the worst teams in the ROM. And that's kind of just how I got good with them.
Gotcha. Well, that's all very interesting, and it's a secret weapon that scares the hell out of me. I've had my fair share of games against you where we were playing for fun, where I was picking random teams against the Colts, and you won more often than not. A, because you're better than me, but B, because holy hell, I think sometimes people just get overconfident versus the Colts, and I mean, I know I have. I remember when I think Tecmo Bow had the Colts DBs when we had, I think this must have been season 40, when we had um, whole defensive alignments drafted, and I was trying to CC all over them, and it just didn't work. So, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So anyway, going back. So thank you for that anecdote and all that good stuff. Um, Going back to the playoffs. So AFC playoffs, basically, Diaz is in. I'm in. Um, I would Tecmo Bow is in. Stall Talk is in if he wins against Tecmo Bow. If he loses, there could be shenanigans. We have to see. And then basically the division, if um, the AFC West is basically a dogfight. 2 out of 3 spots are basically between Gats, Tadeos, and Wags. I suppose game high too if you want to. So basically, of the 2 spots left, You've got Rockman, Gats, Tadeos, Wags, and potentially game high, long shot game high, with the seven losses already, fighting to get into the playoffs. My pick is that um, Gats and Tadeos get in. I would say, but let me look at. Let me. That's just me based on Gats being Gats and Tadeos doing what he's doing. It looks like I will say, looking at rest of Randy's schedule, he's playing Rockman, so that could be serious playoff implications there. He's playing Big Red, so Big Red can play spoiler, and he's playing Game High. So Game High's got some important games coming up here. His last three
Mm-hmm.
games are two against Diaz and one against Randy Wags. So
Well, I
yes,
mean, Rockman. I mean, I think Rockman pulled out the most important one tonight by beating Diaz. So, I mean, if you're able to, the game that you should also try streaming or recording or whatever is Randy Wags versus Rockman. But I mean, this is kind of interesting because you have more than one kind of playing game here. You have like four or five, which I mean, even the seasons that I played, it was never really like that. It was very cut and dry.
yeah, I'd say I agree with you. Rockman is playing Pittsburgh and Denver as his last two games. I think both those games, Denver's going to be a dogfight. Uh, Tundrietti had a rough season this season over there in the Central. After a hot start, the wheels fell off a little bit. So I believe that Pittsburgh game is probably a very winnable game for Rockman. I'm going back into he beat Tundrietti already this season, but it was an overtime touchdown. So maybe they play each other close. Who knows what goes on there? I believe, if I remember correctly, after that game was done, Rockman was apologizing on Discord for the shenanigans. He must have had some Marino shenanigans. So yeah, you're right though. If Rockman wins out, he's got the tiebreaker over Denver, and he's split with Cleveland. So then who knows? So that there's a whole bunch of stuff that could happen here. But you know what? No. So Rockman has to come in as the sixth seed here, because Sean beat him twice. So even if Sean loses to Tecmo Bo, and finishes 10-6, he's got the tiebreaker off over Rockman. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's gonna be a whole bunch of tiebreaker shenanigans going on here, to be honest with you. So who knows? I
Yeah,
don't.
it's crazy.
I,
I mean,
it's all gonna. I mean, I don't want. I'm too afraid to pick it. I know. I just saw in Discord that Gats and um
today us are playing.
yeah, they're playing soon.
Yeah, that's going to be. I guess. Like I yeah, I guess they're recording it because yeah, because War Machine said something. But um, yeah, no, that's a pretty much the division
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. So this, I would agree. I don't see an avenue. I just don't think, especially losing two in a row. I just don't know if Randy's got it in to finish to win out and try
Yeah.
to.
So who do you think's going to win since they're literally probably playing right now? What's your pick?
Tadeo's versus Gats.
Yep.
Um, um. So Tadeo's won the first matchup, but I don't really feel like Gats was into the season then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick Gats. I'm gonna have to go with Gats on this. I think that Gats has the knack of still being hungry even after he wins stuff. I think it just makes him more hungry to be even better, kind of thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I think
I
I think Gats, who had such a crappy start to his season, really wants to pull through and win that division. So I'm gonna pick Gats over Tadeos in a close game, maybe separated by no more than a touchdown, no more than one score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny with Tecmo, and this is what was going on with Sean too when he got really hot and he won Thunderdome and he won HSTL, but got started getting a little hot, in HSTL before Madison, and then he won Madison. So I think he's gonna end up winning this game, and honestly, I think he's probably gonna get not if not to the championship game, to the Super Bowl again, just because he's on a hot streak. I think that honestly, I think that his losses in the tournaments prior to Madison, especially the Magic Mort stuff, I think mentally he was a little shook. You know what I mean? And I think that now that he kind of overcame that, it's kind of propelled him to another level. So I think he's gonna go on a run here. Um, the question is, you know, who's he gonna play in the AFC Championship game? Honestly, that's a toss up because any one of you guys honestly could get there. So
Well,
that's gonna be a
and that's my thing is that here I am, I here I am, I have a 13-3 record. It's my best record ever by one game. I think I went 12-4 with my Bo Jackson season, maybe 11-5. It's my best record I've ever had in HSTL, and I could be the 4 seed and have to face pretty much either Stall Talk or Tecmo Bow in the first round of the playoffs. So that's
yeah. And
that's no bueno.
and not for nothing, but those two, they won the past two Super Bowls.
True.
You know what I mean?
That's true. And even though I beat Stall this season already. It wasn't. I think it was just a bad game for his team. Stuff wasn't going his way. I don't think I necessarily fully outplayed him. I just think that I got, Tecmo went my way a little bit, and he didn't get any
Mm-hmm.
breaks. And I'll also say that Stall, the season I had Bo Jackson when Bo got hurt, Stall knocked me out of the playoffs that season. So, and Tecmo Bo always seems to have my number anyway. I will.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. So the AFC wide open, NFC pretty locked up except for one game here. So real quickly before we have to touch on the draft, I just was looking at the chat and Gats is right. We need to talk about the draft format that got voted for in HSTL. What do you want to give any predictions here on the rounds and all that stuff, or do you want to do that in a different pod?
I'll be honest with you. I don't even know what the draft format is for next year.
No, I'm talking about. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm saying for the playoffs for this season, do you want to make predictions of the playoff teams, or
Oh yeah, of
do you want
course.
to do it a different time?
Yeah, we could do it while we're on the topic. Why not?
All right, so we might as well go NFC because obviously it's all pretty much decided. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say Dolo beats Turbo to get to the playoffs. I'm gonna say Dolo upsets Zur in their game, and I'm gonna say um, I'm gonna say Prime beats Odell. So then, who do we have left? We've got Dolo, War Machine, Prime, and Nas. So then
Yeah,
Nas,
so
so then Nas would play Dolo. That'll be a good game. Nas versus
yeah,
Dolo.
that'd be a fucking great game to watch.
I'd say Nas is gonna beat Dolo just because I think Dolo's team isn't as good this year as it was last year, and I'm gonna say War Machine beats Prime. So even
Mm-hmm.
though I think War Machine makes up for his opening day featured game loss. So then you got War Machine versus Nas in the championship. Did they play this season? I'm gonna go in and look real quick. Um, they did play, and War Machine lost by 4 points. So
Pretty close.
yeah, I think this is War Machine season, man. I want to pick War Machine to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I think, I think the Golden Horseshoe is firmly up his ass, and I think he's gonna represent the NFC. So that's my prediction for the NFC. What about you?
Hmm. All right, so right now you have Nas at 1, War Machine at 2. So Zier would be 3.
Zero.
Then what?
So then, and
Yeah,
then,
4 and 5 would be Odell and
and,
Prime, right?
correct. And 6 would be Dolo or Turbo, depending on who wins their game.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna go with I don't know. I just I'm gonna go with Zier to win over whoever the 6 seed is, just because I kind of picked him anyway to win that division. So he's gonna be a 3. He's gonna play 2, which is War Machine, and War Machine beat him twice this year.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with War Machine just because of that reason. I think Nas is gonna beat pretty much whoever he plays. Because I didn't he sweep Prime? Because he
No,
from
I
what
think
I've seen,
I think Prime got Nas once this season, didn't he? Or
did
no?
he? I have no idea. Are you able to check
Yeah,
that?
I'll look real quick while you keep talking.
Yeah, because if Nas swept Prime,
No,
I'm gonna go with Nas.
I was right. They split and they both blew each other out. One game Nas won by 2 scores, and the other game, Prime won by 3. So
So it was a close game the second time around.
no, they were both blowouts, but opposite ways.
Oh, okay, so Prime won by 3 touchdowns. What you're saying?
He won by 3 scores. He won by 17 points.
3 scores. All right. Well, honestly, I've always thought it was for some reason I just had a feeling that it was Prime's year this year. So I'm gonna go with him and War Machine in the championship game. Um, I don't know. I like I said, I've for some reason I'm just going on emotion here, not by logic. I think Prime's gonna get to the Super Bowl, so he's gonna be my pick. Um, and I think didn't him and War Machine have like a really good game earlier this year? I feel something happened.
Who, War Machine and Prime? Yes, they did. They were the featured game of the season that I commented before the
Mm-hmm.
season started. Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah.
So
So I think they're gonna get back. Well, I'm gonna pick Prime. Just like I said, I just have a feeling it's not anything logical. I just feel that way, so I'm gonna go with that. Got to spice things up. You know what I mean?
sure. So then AFC, I don't I don't know what's going to happen with the seeding. So it's going to be tough to pick. I don't think we can kind of pick matchups here because we don't know what the seeding is going to be. So we basically just have to say who do we think is going to make it to the AFC Championship. I think that's probably the better way to put it. And then who's going to represent the AFC, and then who's going to beat our pick in this. Who's going to win between our two picks. So I'm going to say, oh man, this is tough. How about you go first in the AFC since I went first in the NFC? Because I have no idea what I'm going to say.
This is like what they used to do in the freaking military, man. When there's a sniper, okay, you go first this time.
I kind of feel like I really just need to take like a whole like pull names out of a hat because it's just. I mean, you have your 3-time Madison champ in a row, 3-peat Madison champ in a row sitting there. Who might not even make the playoffs if he loses this game versus Tadeos. He might not even make the playoffs. So
Yeah,
it's really tough to pick the AFC here because you don't really know who's getting in. You just don't.
yeah. No, I have no idea, but I'm just gonna go based on the past 4 seasons. Really, based on the past 4 seasons, we should be picking Bo, Staltag, Gats, and Nas, just because the past 4 Super Bowls, you know what I mean? It's been the majority of those guys. So I don't know. I still feel like I said, I still feel like Bo is gonna win the Central, and I think that Sean's probably gonna be like a 4 or 5. So it depends
Well,
on the freaking.
just so you know, Sean can't be a 4, so he would be a 5 or maybe even a 6,
Okay.
depending on the tiebreakers.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I think that I think that Bo is gonna win just because I think that, like I said, because Sean went on that tear. Um, I think I think Bo is a little bit more hungry. It really depends because if you get in as a 1 seed, here's the whole thing. If you're the 1 seed, I think I think you'll get to the AFC Championship game. I think you'll win your first round. But I think that if you get in as a 4 or 5, I think you're gonna. I don't know because it depends who you play. You know what I mean? It's really hard to pick, but okay, I'll pick. I have to be ballsy here. So I think that who has the tiebreaker between you and Diaz?
Diaz does.
Okay,
Diaz has to lose.
so
Diaz has to split with Game High for me to get the 1 seed. If he does,
okay, I think Diaz.
if he doesn't, I am locked in at the 4 seed.
All right, so I'll lock in Diaz in as a 1 seed. Um, so Bo will be your two. So it'll be 1 and 2, 3. 3, I'm gonna pick Gats. Um, your 4
It's me.
will be you. Your 5 will then be probably Sean.
Well, yeah, because keep in mind between Gas and Tadeos, whoever loses that game is pretty much out of playoff contention. Because, well, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. Is whoever loses that game is in rough shape playoff wise because it looks like you
Yeah,
kind of have to go 10-6 to get into the playoffs here, depending on what happens in the AFC West. So keep going.
exactly. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna pick Darth Rockman to get in his 6th seed.
Whoa! So you think the AFC West is going to bloody themselves up so much that Rockman is you think is gonna win out and get
Yeah,
in and
I'm
get
gonna
in
be
it and get in
ballsy.
at 10-6.
Yeah,
So
who's his remaining games? Rock.
He has Randy Wags and he's got
Okay.
Tundra Yeti.
So he's Sundretti twice and Randy Wags.
No, he only
So
has
yeah,
two. He's got Tundra and he's got Randy, one each.
okay, that's right, because it got updated. So yeah, I'm gonna pick him to win out.
So you're basically picking him. So that means Randy's not in, and so that's why Kevin's not in either. So you're saying Gats beats Tadeos. You're saying Rockman beats Randy, which knocks all those guys out, and you're saying Rockman gets in as the 6th seed.
As a six. Yep. And
So
plays
so that
and
means
then he'll play Gat.
he'll be playing Gats, which will be tough
And
for him.
Gats I think will win. So he'll win that one. Which leaves you and Sean. And I mean Sean might pull one. You want to know what it depends on? It depends on how many CCs you get against Sean. If QB Browns and Flipper are working magic, you'll win. If they don't, you'll lose.
Yeah, that was my game,
Um,
and that's what happened in my game versus him when I played him. Is that I was CCing him left and right, which more than my last 2 games of the season versus uh, I think they were against Diaz and no, it was against Hawk. It was against Hawk and it was against Stahl. Um, I was QB Browns was finally doing what I thought he would do all season.
hmm, yeah,
So
so that really depends. So I really don't know, but I still feel as though Diaz is going to get in the championship game somehow with Gats with his the tear he's going on. So I think it's going to be Diaz versus Gats. Um, but then again, Tecmo Bow. So who the heck would Tecmo Bow play if I called it like that? Tecmo Bow.
Tecmo Bowl would be the 2 seed, so he would face the winner of 3 versus 6. So he would face Gats in his first game.
Okay. Actually, no. I think Tecmo Bow will beat Gats. So I think it's going to be Bow versus Diaz. I think it's going to be Bo versus Diaz, and whoever wins that will be in the Super Bowl, obviously. So those are my two, Bo and Diaz.
So who wins that? You already
Um,
you called what you
yeah,
call who would you call in the NFC? You called Prime to represent the NFC. So who's going to represent the AFC?
I'm gonna go with the 3P from the AFC Central. I'm gonna go with Tecmo Bow.
Okay.
I think that I think that Troy Aikman. I've seen Troy Aikman go into bad so many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Bo's gonna go
Yeah.
back.
So I think that going through it for me, I think that Gats is going to beat Tadeos. I think Gats wins the AFC West. I don't think Rockman wins out. I think he loses to Randy. But I think
Mhm.
Randy I have to go back and look. Who's Randy playing? He's playing Rockman and Miami. I think Randy wins out. So I think that you have three teams at 9-7, and I think that's going to be interesting. I think that
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
bet
if
you,
it wins, I think it'll be 10 games.
I bet you Diaz sweeps game high and gets the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think if I beat Sean, I can
You
beat
have a good chance.
I can beat Diaz because
I believe in it too.
I think that my first game versus him, even though I gave it away in overtime and the second game had a whole bunch of shenanigans, my first game he passed for 380 yards with Aikman and Stauffer.
I
Just
remember that because
just throw.
I think I was talking to you on the stream. I
No,
think.
he and I were talking to each other. So
Okay, that's right.
you were messaging me and I wasn't responding.
Okay.
so I think I can beat him. Do I think that I'm going to? I don't know, but I just know I can. So then if the chips fall that way, if I can beat Stahl, assuming your logic goes through, and I beat Diaz, I don't know if Tecmo Bow beats Gats like you think so, but regardless, I'm gonna say um, he did beat Gats already this season. I'm gonna say whoever wins between Gats and Bow, I'm gonna lose to them. So even if I could beat those other two, so there's no way I'm making it to the Super Bowl. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna go. Oh man, this is tough.
Yeah, the AFC's really tough. I mean,
It's tough
mm,
because I'm gonna go with Gats. I gotta go with Gats here. I think that um, I just think that Gats is gonna finish his magic. I don't like Tecmo Bow's team in the sense that he's so reliant on, like, if Mega gets hurt at all, his team is screwed because
mhm.
he has Elway. I just I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna call it, man. I'm gonna say Gats wins the AFC. Pulls some magic out of his hat, and I'm gonna say that Gats beats War Machine. And maybe not. Maybe War Machine beats Gats in the Super Bowl. I like that. I like the way that sounds. I think I think we need another. I think we need another new champion. So I honestly, dude, I have no idea what's gonna happen. We're all
I
just
mean, logically, like, uh, if you just go based on trends, you'd have Gats versus Nas in the Super Bowl.
well. I mean,
You know what I mean?
that would be Gats versus Nas number 4 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be three. But based on trends and based on past history, it would be Gats versus Nas. But I mean, the past two seasons have been a little bit different
True.
with the AFC Central for some reason is like rising and shining. So obviously there's some competition,
Yeah.
within that division
Yeah.
that's kind of heating up. But see, here's the whole thing. I would very easily be like, I, I would very easily pick Diaz to go. The only reason why I'm not is because of Troy Aikman.
Well,
Because
he's
even though
wait. You are making fun of Mr. LVP himself, who JP the bowler famously picked, I think, in the second round of a draft.
who's
So,
JP the bowler, I don't even know who that is.
oh man. So I agree. I think honestly, I think anybody on a good day can win it in the AFC. So I don't know what's going to happen in the AFC, but I think that we can stop talking about this, and we'll probably do another. Well, we're an hour and 10 minutes, and I want to talk about the draft a little bit. So these aren't set in stone. Maybe we'll sneak another pod in before I go away when the season's done. When we had the seedings, these are more just kind of for fun predictions. Although with the NFC, it's pretty set in place, but the AFC we have a lot more work to do. Okay, so Uh, I'm going to reveal the draft doc for the first time for everybody watching. It is done. I just didn't tell anybody because I wanted to wait till this pod. So here it is. The doc is loading. Um, Matt, I think it's shared with you too, by the way. So
What's
basically,
that?
I think it's shared with you. So basically, the draft format is this: it's QBs. It's 7 rounds, 7 total rounds. QBs, running backs, wide receivers, offensive line and tight ends, defensive line, kicker, punter, linebackers, DBs. You get the whole tandem for the whole team. So, for example,
Nice.
you get all of the Raiders running backs, you get all of the Oilers wide receivers, you get all the Giants linebackers, you get all of who's got a good defensive, or all the Bears DBs.
I kind of like it. It's short, it's sweet, and
This
it's to
what
the point.
this was Tech Mobo's idea. He pitched it a couple of seasons ago. I've been keeping it at bay. I did a vote. While less than half the league voted, it it overwhelmingly was the top scorer getter. I think they were just kind of sick of the draft format that we had, which I still will contend to everyone listening and who watches this later. Even though this draft format we've done the last 3 seasons now, where it was one with bundled QBs, one without bundled QBs, and then I swapped. Instead of going running back DB, I went wide receiver DB. I think there's been more parity the past 3 seasons in HSTL than there's ever been. So I think the format actually worked really well and did what it was supposed to do. So I will say that. But anyway, this format, Matt, is such a CF that I think, I mean, you could potentially have a team. Granted, I doubt it would happen, but conceivably, you could have a team who gets the Oilers wide receivers and they literally will have no quarterback to throw to them. And
Hey, that's why, that's when the skill players come out, though, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I like it because I mean it's easy maintenance. It won't take long. You could probably bang out that draft in like a day if you really wanted to.
no, I mean this draft will probably hopefully be a rolling round and then bang it out in 3 days because there's going to be no simmed round. I
Hmm.
don't I don't think we should sim rounds on this. If we get there and people are just so NFGing it they don't care, then I'll sim around. But I just don't think with only 7 rounds you need to sim any of them. But I think that this is going to be. I mean, what do you do? I mean, there's so many valuable picks. When you're in the top half of this draft, there's so many valuable tandems with the running backs and the wide receivers and the DBs and what have you. I mean, does QB Eagles still go first? How does QB Eagles go first when you literally can pick, Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen, or Barry Sanders and Mel Gray, or Neil Anderson and Johnny Bailey, or whatever, or the whole Oilers second, wide receivers, or Jerry Rice and John Taylor. I don't know. What do you think? Does QB Eagles still go first in this draft?
In my opinion, yeah. I mean, has to. You know what I mean? I mean that's the reason why he goes first overall anyway. Because if you know how to use QB Eagles, he is the ultimate weapon. You know what
That
I mean?
that's true as I experienced firsthand playing you.
Yeah,
Um,
like if you know how to use him, you don't need any. You could be throwing to freaking Hab Beach, cloned 5 times. It doesn't matter.
yeah, that's true. But which I will say though, that means you're gonna have looking at the QBs. I'm going to the QB page. There are going to be, I think, 4 or 5 teams with less than a 44 PC QB. Let's see. One, but that's with BJ. Two, but that's with Schrader.
My guess is
Um,
Kevin just gave away the the winner of the game.
oh, where on Discord?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and Gats just sent it to me.
Yeah. So, um, but yeah. So I guess our prediction was right. No built up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna delete that. Well, now I can't delete it because you just told everybody on the podcast, you asshole. Anyway, going back
Uh,
to what I was saying, there's gonna be like 5 teams with crappy QBs, is what I was saying, and especially a couple teams with the Indy QBs and the Bears QBs and what have you. So,
hey, hey, hey. The indie QBs are not crappy. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, they are.
so I guess the question is, I mean, so okay, so QB Eagles goes first. Who goes second? Like, what do you pick?
I think that's when your Bo Jacksons, your Barry Sanders will end up going. Now, here's my question: with these receivers, are you able to get the quarterback with them, or is that a totally different pick?
No, it's a different pick. So it goes
Okay.
literally the tandems are QBs, both QBs from a team. So Steve Young and Joe Montana. Running backs. So all four. I'll name 4 from a team: Otis Anderson, David Meggett, Maurice Carthon, and Rodney Hampton. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Wide receivers: Curtis Duncan, Haywood Jeffries, Ernest Gibbons, Drew Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and then the OL, the offensive lineman, tight ends. I don't know any offensive line. I'm sorry. But obviously, the big value pick there, if you care, is either the Vikings with the 50 MS returner and Steve Jordan, the Dolphins who have the biggest OL in the game with Jensen and Farrell Edmonds, and I think what the other best one is the 49ers with Brent Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is that actually going back to this, my friends and I did a draft like this a long, long time ago. Um, and yeah, you're the people that should go, are QB Eagles. Then you got your Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, Barry Sanders, Mo Gray. But then after that, it's going to be like your Ronnie Lott, Dave Waymer, because having those two on a defense is like astronomically awesome. And then you got your underrated guys like Lewis Oliver and Jarvis Williams. You know what I mean on the Dolphins. Actually, um, as underrated as they are, both of those two guys together, especially at the safety position, if you have it fixed, I don't know if you have it fixed or you can
No,
move
no, we're
around.
not. We're definitely not doing lock positions. I won't do that. Just
Okay. Yeah. So, but those are the guys that'll end up going, right after the Barry Sanders, Mel Gray types of the
so
world. You know
are
what I
you
mean?
are you trying to say that you think the Dolphins DBs are going to go in the top half of the first round? Are you kidding me?
No, like I'm saying that they're very serviceable. I'm not saying they're going to be a top 10 pick. I'm
Uh,
saying they're going to probably be in the middle of the teens.
you think the Dolphins DBs are going to be a mid first round pick? No way in hell. Not a chance. I don't think so. No way. I think there's going to be so much overreaching on QBs in this draft that I bet you.
Think so?
I think every good QB combo is going to be gone by the end of the second round. You watch every one of them.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got Warren Moon, that was QB Bills, QB Browns, Joe Montana.
No, but
So yeah,
I'm saying all of them. I bet you everyone after what happened a couple of seasons ago when we had this QB tandem in place where there was no good QBs left by the third round. I guarantee you that they're going to be all overreached on, and everyone's going to be
yeah, probably right.
after what someone like Sean went through. I think that's how he got what Moon last season. He went 3-13 or
Mm,
something. I'm gonna tell with like Jack Trudeau. I'm gonna tell you he or no who had Randy Wags had Trudeau, I think. Anyway, point being is I think that there's gonna be a lot of overreaching on the QBs. Definitely.
mm.
I think that
No, you're probably right. It's
I
just that I just like those DBs, so I'm kind of overhyping them.
yeah. I think that where the value you're gonna get is the lack of serviceable counterparts. So like for example, for me, if I could take, the 49ers DBs or the Bengals to get Fulcher, I would choose the 49ers, clearly, because you got Lott and Waymer.
Well, yeah,
I'd even consider the Redskins.
Bears. Yeah, the Bears, the Steelers, the Redskins, all with those two on. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is that if you get two, if you're able to get a 1-2 punch like in your secondary, it's I mean it's I don't want to say lights out, but it's a huge
Yeah.
boost on your
But
defense.
that's what I'm saying is that like the tandems that only have one person in them that is good are going to be the value picks later. So like
Oh,
I mean look at Gats. Gats, basically went 10-6 this season with his whole defense is literally Deion Sanders. Nobody else.
mm-hmm.
He's got nobody else. So I mean, point being is like for someone who can do that, they can take those singular picks that are still available. Where there's one good person, like your Dolphins linebackers or
Mm-hmm.
your Bengals DBs. But people might overreach on them anyway and take them early when they shouldn't. You know, I could see someone taking the Bengals DBs over a better tandem DBs just because they want Fulcher. It just I mean,
Well, yeah,
just happens. Like I
yeah.
mean, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say, honestly, as far as GMing goes, I'll admit this. I'm a way better player than I am at GMing. So don't ever take my advice when it comes to drafting, because I mean that's the reason why like I'm able to play better with teams that are just given to me than teams I draft. I mean, just because there's some people, if they're really good GMs, they can make up for some of those parts. But I completely agree with you. The quarterback should go. They usually do go. Um,
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna feel bad off the bat, just kind of going through the bad tandems. Starting with QBs, anybody who ends up with the um, Indy QBs, the Bears QBs, or the um, who's the last one? Those are really the only two.
I mean, you got Billy Joe Tolliver.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
the high passing
pretty
speed,
good. Bobby Brister and Rick Strom.
yeah, but the high passing speed kind of makes up for it. So I'd
I
say the
agree completely.
I'd say the Bears. I'd say the Bears and the yeah
Patriots.
Patriots. No, because you got Mark Wilson. The Bears and the Colts. Those are the two worst quarterback tandems. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll stop there. For running backs, for running backs, rest in peace to anybody who ends up with um, the
Patriots running
the
backs.
Patriots running backs. Um, I'd say I definitely would say that. I think. I mean, anyone who doesn't. I mean, I proved with Worley. I had Worley for a season and ran for over 1,000 yards. You can run with a 30 MS running back, but it's a pain in the ass, and it takes a lot of dedication. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams here that don't have anything more than a 38 MS running back. So, basically, any one of those people too, good luck. So
Mm-hmm.
for wide receivers, now obviously you can still get tight ends that are serviceable or whatever, but obviously, the Bears, no thank you. Um, I'm just kind of scrolling down as I'm talking to you.
Okay, I was gonna say you have to be looking at something right now. I'm just looking at my phone.
Uh, yeah, the Bears are pretty rough. I'd say the Bears are the only team that really, really suck. So let's say the Bears wide
hmm
receiver. We'll say the Bears wide receivers
Oh gosh, yeah, that would be terrible. That's gonna be interesting. If you have the Bears receivers and like freaking Warren Moon
or vice versa. What if you've got the Oilers
with
receivers with
receivers
like
and
with like
Mike
the
Tomczak and Jim Harbaugh?
I know, right? I mean, I
It's
don't.
interesting. I'll be honest with you. The format, this one kind of excites me a little bit.
Well, that waiting list is getting shrunk down. It seems like it always happens in spurts. We don't need to go through. We don't need to go over OL, tight end, and DL, kicker, punter because that's the same as usual. So we'll leave that alone. For linebackers, obviously, your worst linebackers in the game, I believe, are the Bucks. But I mean,
Yep.
honest, any linebacking crew where you don't have your LB4, good luck trying to stop the run. Which
No, I
which
agree.
which is
You
which is
got like
honest which is
freaking
honestly a lot of them. If you go through, most of them don't have a stud linebacker because a lot of people, much like QBs, are separating the studs out. But this is like a serious thing here too, where I would say I contend, how I mean I know that the Bears linebackers will go before like the Falcons and the Bengals and whatever, but there's going to be linebacking groups that I contend that have better because they have two guys that will go before the Bears.
hmm
There's actually a lot of
No,
bad. There's a lot of bad linebacking tandems. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, just imagine that
I,
you're in a division and you get stuck with the Bucks linebackers, and you have Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen.
or QB
You know,
Eagle
you're
or QB Eagles.
yeah, or QBUs you're playing against.
There's actually a lot of bad linebackers. Holy crap. Anyway, and then
Mhm.
DBs. Obviously, we don't have to talk any further about the Colts DBs, as we all know how bad they are.
You
Uh,
mean how awesome they are?
yeah, how awesome they are, clearly. So whoever gets stuck with it, imagine if you have the Colts DBs though, and you get stuck in a division with Browns, Bills, Eagles, or any of those QBs, Warren Moon, whatever. That's going to be tough. So
Like Rockman and Randy Wags are about to play their game, so
if Rockman is going to stream, then um, I will
look at
probably.
all these playing games going on tonight. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. It
You know
looks.
what I wish? I wish they were able to live stream when we were on this so we can be like commentating on it.
Yeah. So I think that if Rockman's going to stream, we should probably end this so we can watch that, and then if Rockman's not streaming, I'm going to um, stream the. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Should I stream the Tadeo's Gats game when everyone they were talking about who won? Like, does it even matter anymore?
No, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't even think it matters because they literally had a conversation about it when we were talking.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
So
Darth Rockman's responding right now, so I don't know if he's. I mean, he should be streaming this because this is pretty much a playing game.
yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I don't want to say Tundra doesn't have a chance.
No,
So
but I'm saying this is a bigger game because really this is going to determine the fate. Because I mean, essentially, Kevin just got knocked out. You know what I mean? If one of those guys wins out, he's out. You know what I mean?
that's true. Well, no. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. You're
Because
right.
if they go both 10-6, he's 9-7.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Well, anyway, so I think we're kind of done here anyway.
yeah, I hear
th-
you, man.
this draft format is. I kind of like this whole live update thing though. While we're talking, it's kind of fun. Uh,
Yeah, man, I wish this happened more often, but
I know, and it's kind of funny. We're an hour and a half in. We have more viewers now than we did an hour and a half did most of the time. But now we're gonna go.
how
Um,
many viewers do we even have?
we had like 10. Okay, so that's
Oh,
pretty.
only 10. 10's a lot, man.
I think we're like Seinfeld. We're better with the playback. I think that's pretty much it. This draft format's going to be interesting. I think round zero is going to matter more than it ever has. Uh, Maybe I can vote out round zero with Thule gone since he left the league and he's the one who really wanted it. Maybe I'll just get rid of it. But anyway, I think the
Dictatorship.
format's going to be interesting. I think the playoffs are going to be interesting. I think we should talk again before playoffs start. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see, depending on what happens. And I think that I think that's pretty much it, man. So as always,
Yep.
I appreciate you coming on here with me, and thanks for letting me push you off while life got in the way, man.
No problem, man. Good talking to you too.
Good talking to you, and so until next time, guys. This was the Hoff and Dynasty show, and that's it for now. So thank you very much, guys. Until next time.
Peace. You still there? You still there? Yo.